My name is Adrian, and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Central Europe. I hope everybody is having a fantastic week so far, staying healthy and staying strong. In this class, we are looking at the reading section, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how to get to that Band 9 level comprehension, meaning that you understand enough of the text that you can answer all of the questions after the passage. This is a members chat class. Of course, everybody is welcome to watch. To become a member of our channel, simply click the join button beside the subscribe button. If you don't see that, you can send me an email and I can give you some further help and instructions. My email, if you have any questions, is adrian@aehelp.com. Welcome, members. Hi, Elite. Hi, Fennel. Hi, Abhishek. Honey, nice to see you join up. Rashika, Moni, good to see everyone in the class. Students, this lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Please visit us there. And for the general IELTS, please visit us at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we have lots and lots of practice exams, videos with strategies, HD videos, of course, as well as a fully interactive course. And all of our websites are supported by mobile apps, so you can use those as well. This is aehelp.com. You can click that big red button to join the premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, well worth the small investment to really save yourself a lot of time and headache to do well on the IELTS exam. General IELTS students, same idea. It's gieltshelp.com. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access to the app and the website. You can click that big red button to join the premium package there. Elite, I'm doing fantastic today. Thank you for asking. I had a good workout before the class, so my energy levels are great. I'm feeling healthy and strong. Thank you for asking. I hope everybody is also paying attention to not just mental fitness through study, but also physical fitness through regular cardiovascular exercise and perhaps a bit of strength training as well. That is very important for success in life, including success on the IELTS exam. All right, so let's get into today's reading. As we do that, let me just explain a couple of ideas for improving your comprehension. Elite says, I just came back from the gym half an hour ago. That's fantastic. I'm happy to hear that. Elite, hi, Carolina. All right, so I've said a few different tips and strategies before on what's important to improve comprehension when you're reading. Can any of our longtime members help us out and give us some ideas of what is important to keep in mind when you're preparing for your IELTS exam so that you comprehend the passage, meaning that you understand what you're reading? Honey, I'm really glad that you're cycling. Cycling is a very healthy sport. Cycling and swimming are low-impact, healthy sports. So I'm happy that students are picking up on that. That's fantastic. Okay, Abhishek says visualize. Absolutely. Okay, so number one, while you read, you must actively visualize the information that you are reading. It sounds simple, but many students don't do this. Many students just read and they hear sounds, but they don't actually see what they're reading. Okay, so actively visualize the information that you are reading. Very good. Okay, Honey says you have to use some critical thinking in the order of what, why, and how questions when you're reading the paragraphs. Absolutely. Use critical thinking in the sense of applying what, why, how questions to the passage and paragraphs. Absolutely. Okay. When I say actively visualize. Let's do a little bit more here. When I say actively visualize, what do I mean by active visualization? So how can you actively visualize a reading passage? How did you do, David? What were your scores? So okay, very good. Natalie says, include yourself in the picture. That's one of the most important steps for actively processing information, students, is you have to be a participant, okay? Participating in the event of the information is a very, very powerful strategy, okay? So you actively visualize by including yourself. Okay, I can't stress how important this is. So make sure to include yourself. Humans are generally egocentric, meaning they care about themselves first. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that you don't care about people you love, like your husband or your wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, brother, sister, mother, father. Sure you do, okay? But humans definitely do love themselves a lot, okay? We're not ants. We're not bees. We don't sacrifice ourselves so easily for the greater good, all right? We love ourselves. So we care about ourselves first and what's happening to us, okay? So make sure to include yourself. Humans are egocentric, all right? Be a part of the information, and your brain will process the information much more, okay? Definitely. All right, so we're using critical thinking as well. Let's see. So David, 8.7575 speaking and 6.5 in writing. Overall, David, that's a fantastic score, 7.5. David, congratulations. I am very proud to have helped you in your journey to that score, and I wish you the best in your future steps. Keep practicing your writing, okay? Literature, writing well is a really, really important skill, and since you're reading a 7.5 with a bit more practice, I'm sure your writing will become much better too, okay? So, but 8 in listening and your speaking score too is fantastic, okay? So very well done. Okay, very nice. Okay, so Natalie says create emotional images. Yeah, interesting images. Absolutely, Natalie. So creating interesting images is better for the mind. So create interesting images from the information that you are reading. And you should create details. Okay, so that's the other important point. As a third point, when you're reading, everyone, you should keep structure, organization of the information that you read. And you do that with critical reading. Okay, so create structure among the information that you read. Okay, how can you do that? So this is very important. A lot of times students complain that I read a passage and then I don't know what I was reading. I don't know where I was reading about it. It's hard for me to find it again. I forgot where it was. That's not good. Okay, you want to know exactly where it was. You want to know it was in paragraph 2 in the middle and I can find it quickly, all right? You want to be able to do that. So you need to be able to keep structure. Of course, visualization will help you with that. How else? How else can you keep structure? Okay, how else can you keep structure? Abhishek, write me an email about that question. I'll help you out. When you have an abstract topic, you have to turn it into a physical topic. That's the trick, okay? Okay, Natalie says, think about the heading of each paragraph. Yeah, so think about the topic of each paragraph. So what each paragraph is about. Absolutely, Abhishek. So create structure among the information that you read. Identify the topic of each paragraph as you read it. Okay. Especially pay attention to the thesis and introduction. Okay, remember that IELTS passages are well structured. Okay, so the people who write these IELTS passages, they know what they're doing and they're structuring them well. All right. Okay, so let's do this a little bit. Let's get into today's reading passage. This passage is coming from some of our new exams that we're developing. So this is a little bit of a preview into that. We've covered this a while ago now, but these are quite fresh, I think, for most people. So lots of great new vocabulary. First thing first, we read the topic or this title of this passage. Okay, so this is reading passage 3 coming out of our 7th or 8th exam. Here we go. So let's do this. Touch screens, 20th century invention, 21st century commonplace. Okay, so as soon as I read this, what should I see? What should I see? So as soon as I read that topic, what should I see? Okay, there's definitely some images that should be coming to mind right now, even before I look at any of the questions or information. Here, just right after the title. Okay, so Abhishek says mobile phone. That's a good start. Okay, let's see a little bit more. All right, so I just read the title, touch screens. Okay, what should I see? Moni says electronic gadgets. Keep in mind what we talked about, everyone. So let me get you back on camera here while you visualize. So keep in mind what we talked about, everyone. We talked about including yourself, making it somehow interesting. Okay. And details. So as soon as you read touchscreens, you should be seeing a lot more than just mobile phones and gadgets. Okay? Carolina says computers, TV, smartphones, tablets. Ois says, I see developments in electronic aspect in the 21st century, advancements in technology, laptop. Okay, I'll tell you what I see, and then let's check how your ideas differ from mine. So I see myself editing a picture, a baby picture of my daughter on my Samsung tablet using multi-touch functions. Okay. So this is what I see. Okay. As soon as I read that title, I see myself editing a baby picture of my daughter on my Samsung tablet using multi-touch functions. So I see myself enlarging the picture. I see myself highlighting some areas, choosing some tools, fixing some aberrations, some shadows. So what am I doing that's a little bit different from what you're doing? What am I trying to get you to realize here as soon as you read a title or as soon as you read a piece of information where you're being tested? And this is the key here, members, is you're being tested on this information. It's not just something that you quickly glance over in a magazine that you might think of later at a social meeting to chit-chat about. Okay, you're being tested on this here. Precision is important. Okay, so what's the difference? Because I definitely see a lot of answers, but I don't really see what I'd like to see. Okay, now Carolina says using my fingers on a screen. Okay, yeah, tactile, right? Even not just visual, but you start to get the sensation of your fingers. And it's so common today that I bet when you start thinking about the touch screen, touching it, you can actually feel that cold, hard glass, right? Okay. All right, Fennel, if you see yourself having a conversation with friends and family on your laptop, you're not really touching it. So you have to think about something where you're interfacing, like you're playing your favorite game and you're fighting an end boss, or you're in a very challenging competition with one of your friends in a multiplayer game, touching the different parts of the screen. Okay, maybe if some of you play PUBG, for example, or something like that, then you see yourself touching and getting really excited about finding some new items. Okay. All right. Honey, you don't want to see Robert Downing Jr. because that's not you. Okay. So you don't want to distance the information from yourself. The trick here is you always want to bring the information as close to yourself as possible. I feel like I'm kind of missing, or I'm not allowing you to see the point here. Okay. So this is me. Okay. I love my daughter, so it's emotional. And it's directly related, okay, to the topic. All right? And it's detailed. So I'm not just seeing any tablet. I literally see my Samsung tablet. I own a tablet E, and I literally see my Samsung tablet E. So I've got detail. Okay? So you immediately have to reach for this kind of detailed, personal, emotional information. You want to bring it close to yourself. Okay? The closer it is to you, the more your brain will react, and the more your brain will understand and comprehend and be able to use that information. Okay? Teachers these days, good teachers, good education systems work really hard to make the information they present to students personal. Okay? Because then students learn much better. So do that for yourself. Okay? Honey says okay. Okay? All right, Ois says, I'm touching a smart screen with my fingers faster than before. What are you touching, Ois? What do you see on that smart screen? Okay? All right. Elite says, I see myself drawing a sketch of my friend using a touch pen on the tablet. Elite, that's better. So now you're engaging the information more. Okay? So better. Okay? And don't just think it, but actually see it. All right? Okay, so work on it. It seems simple, and it will become easier, but you have to work on it. Okay, this isn't a skill that just easily comes about. You need to focus on developing this skill of personal visualization of information. Okay, all right. So now let's take a look at the questions, and then we'll get a deeper understanding. Again, continue to visualize. So you have to do that always for whatever information you understand. Okay, all right. Here we go. Title of summary topic. So this is going to be some kind of summary of this passage. Okay. Capacitive touchscreens. Johnson's touchscreens used as an insulator and a transparent conductor coating. The something worked as the conductor, and because the dose of electricity was small, it did not affect the person's health. Okay, so we're reading this because it's information that's all in the passage, and we're starting to visualize perhaps ourselves inventing the earliest touchscreens and thinking about how this technology can function. Whatever you understand, great. If you don't understand some information, no problem. Just keep going, okay? You don't have to understand every word. Resistive touchscreens. Okay, so here, just by the titles, I can see that there's two types of touchscreens that are going to be discussed. And I'm not an electrical engineer, so I personally don't really know what a capacitive and what a resistive touchscreen is. I can kind of start to guess by thinking of the word resist and capacit, okay? But again, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about this because the passage will make it clear for me. Here, I'm just getting a good idea of the general information in the passage. So this technology, oh, and by the way, of course, everybody watching and members, this is reading, so please read. Don't just listen to me, okay? So read with me. This technology was developed by accident. Instead of making calculations by hand, they used a special kind of something which conducted electricity. When the researchers applied for a patent for the technology, they were denied. Patent officers did not believe the technology had any something applications outside of the laboratory. Hearst was no longer bothered by worries about something, so he toiled in his off hours with friends to refine his invention. Okay, so definitely the history, the politics maybe a little bit behind touchscreens. No hands required. Hearst developed his technology to the point that while one could still use a finger to manipulate the touchscreen, a person could also use a something, a device akin to a pen with no ink. Okay, so how we're using the touchscreen? Sure. And now we have some true, false, not given. Now, true, false, not given questions, we don't read them because there's confusing and not given information, so we're not interested in that, okay? And then here we have multiple choice. Now again, multiple choice, we only read the question because the question is somewhere in the passage, the information about it. The options are only one, or in this case, two, in the passage, and 3 of the 5 are not in the passage, so I'm not going to read my options because I don't know which 3 are not in the passage. I don't want to read unnecessary information. Oftentimes, you don't even have to read all 5. Maybe you will find the first 2 answers right away, and then you don't have to waste time. Okay, so here, which 2 of the following statements are made in the text about G.S. Hearst? So G.S. Hearst here is obviously one of the key scientists or engineers who came up with touchscreen technology. I change this question into a statement in my mind so it's easier to capture it in the passage, okay? So there are 2 statements that are made about H.G. Hearst as an engineer, as a person who invented touchscreens in the passage. They are, okay? All right, and then questions 39 and 40. Okay, so this is 37 and 38, so it's worth 2 points. And then I have questions 39 and 40, which again, it's a multiple choice. I have to choose 2 of them. Okay, each one's going to count for a point. Which 2 of the following statements are made in the text about E.A. Johnson? All right, so the text explains about E.A. Johnson the following 2 points. So now I know that the 2 key figures, the 2 key people in this touchscreen technology that I will read about are E.A. Johnson and G.S. Hearst. Okay, lots of valuable information there in the question. So 2 important people and 2 important types of touchscreen technology. Okay, all right. So that's what's going on. And Ois, you're absolutely right. In multiple choice, we just read the questions, not the answers, because the answers can be confusing. Okay? All right. So we have clear visualizations. All right? We can perhaps visualize that we are these scientists. So I am the scientist working on touchscreen technology invention. How exciting. All these millions and billions of people in the world will be using my invention and on their daily life going touching all these screens and doing all kinds of wonderful different activities like playing games, being entertained by movies, communicating with family around the world, making the economy go around, investing in stocks and bonds, all through the medium of this touchscreen technology. Fantastic. How exciting. Okay, get yourself excited, all right? It's really good to be excited in a positive way when you're in the IELTS exam, in any exam. That will give you confidence, okay? Students that are excited about exams and confident generally tend to do better, all right? Okay, so here we go, everyone. So now we're going to read these paragraphs. Read with me. We're going to read these at a comfortable pace. We will visualize each paragraph as we read. And of course, we will think critically about the information. So combining all of these strategies will make you a very powerful reader where you can comprehend at a Band 8, Band 9 level. Okay, so visualizing and also thinking about What am I reading about? Why am I reading this? How is this happening? Okay, that's right, honey. Positive thoughts make the world go around and around. It's very, very true. Okay, so here we go, everyone. Let's read this together, and then we'll do a little bit of feedback throughout. At times, I will ask you about what you saw. At times, I will ask you about what you read. At times, I will ask you about why you read it. Okay? All right. Abhishek, how would you like me? Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Got you. Okay, always say, let's see. There. Yeah. Now you can see it all, right? Okay. Thanks, Abhishek. Yeah, I see that in my feedback screen. Now there was a little piece that was chopped off, right? So just like you're actively reading, I'm actively teaching. I am paying attention to what you're saying while I'm spouting all of this information. Okay, everyone, here we go. So from the introduction, read with me. The touchscreen is everywhere in modern society. While the most commonplace touchscreens are encountered as mobile phones, touchscreens are also found in ATMs, grocery stores, computers, and tablets, parking meters, cars, restaurants, medical equipment, and countless other applications. They are a part of everyday life that most people take for granted. But how did they come to be? How do they work? Okay. So, quick question. What do you see? So when you read this paragraph, what do you see? Okay. Thanks, Carolina. I appreciate that. Okay. What do you see? The introduction is especially important to visualize. So I see myself living and going through a day in my life, okay? So I see myself waking up, turning on my computer. I have a touchscreen computer, so I do a couple of important tasks by tapping open my email on the computer. Then I grab my phone. I check my messages by tapping the screen there. I go downstairs, and I open up my garage door by tapping the screen on the door there that opens up the garage door. Okay? Absolutely. Okay? In fact, I'm tapping a touch screen right now to close that notification that just popped up in front of our reading passage. So very much real life. Okay? Yeah, exactly, Nikhil. So see yourself using all those types of touchscreens and then maybe thinking to yourself, like, where did this touchscreen come from that's on my microwave or on my refrigerator? They're everywhere these days. Okay, so here we go. Let's keep reading. The first touchscreen was developed in the mid-1960s by British scientist E.A. Johnson while working for the Royal Radar Establishment in Malvern, UK. Johnson's invention utilized what came to be known as capacitive touch technology. It worked by using an insulator, usually glass, that had a transparent conductor coating such as indium tin oxide. The finger acted as a conductor for electricity, a very small amount that was not damaging to a person's health, that activated the desired input. This device had limitations. First, it could not handle multiple touches at the same time. That is, the device could only register one touch at a time. Second, it could not register sensitivity. It was like a light switch that registered either on or off and nothing in between. Touchscreens that could handle variations of pressure would not come until decades later. Though Johnson's touchscreens were lacking certain aspects of modern touchscreens, they still found important uses in the later decades of the 20th century. His touchscreen technology was implemented by air traffic controllers in the United Kingdom and was still in use until the late 1990s. Okay, so here we go. What are we reading about? So this is going to be a what, why, how here. Hopefully you were also visualizing. So this is body one. Okay, body one. What did you read about? Okay, so what was this about? What was the main point of this paragraph? Okay, so Fennel says the original invention of the touchscreen. Sure, and what was that, Fennel? So try to be more specific. You're right, it's the first touchscreen technology. What was it? Very good, Nick Hill. I love Nick Hill's answer. So Nick Hill says the advent of the capacitive touchscreen invented by A.E. Johnson. Nick Hill, that is a perfect answer to this question. So the advent of the capacitive touchscreen invented by E.A. Johnson in 1960. Fantastic. Yeah. Why did he do it? Why did he invent it? Okay. Nick Hill, that's perfect. That's how you band 9 comprehension. So why was it invented? Okay, again, through visualization, you should have caught this very, very clearly. So why was it invented? It had some purpose. Usually most inventions do. Okay, honey, yeah, that's good. It's about the origin of capacitive touchscreen. Yeah, and if you can get that other little part in there, invented by E.A. Johnson, it's fine. Elite Gamer, yeah, you're on par. If you remember to include the capacitive, it's even better, okay? Because remember, there's 2 types of touchscreens, so we're going to read about the other one later, so it's good to keep a clear catalog here in your mind, okay? All right, and why did he invent it? So where was this used? Okay. Where was it used? Nice and fast. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a perfect answer. Okay. It's just important to start approximating the right answer. All right. So Nick Hill gave the perfect answer for the first question, which is great. But even if you get your answer quite close, like Honey did or Elite Gamer did, it's fine. You're definitely on the right track for a high band score. Yeah, so Fennel says in airspace application by the UK. Fennel, can you be a little bit more specific? You're on the right track. Okay. Try to be a little bit more specific. Yeah, Nick Hill, very good. So air traffic control. Connection, something with the radar, right? So radar systems used in air traffic control in the UK. Okay, very good, right? And how did it work? Yeah, Fennel, that's being concise. ATC, air traffic control radar. Exactly. Yeah, so ATC radar is a beautifully concise way to express this. Yeah. Carolina, in connection with the radar used for air traffic control in the UK, in the United Kingdom. Absolutely. And how did it work? How did it work? Okay, so what was the basic principle? Hopefully some of you are able to visualize this as well. Okay, so you should be coming up with something like this. So a piece of glass had a conductive coating which when touched by a finger would register a single point on the screen. Okay, so anything like that. Yarabisha, very nice. So Yarabisha says using the finger as a conductor for a single point, right? So Yarabisha, that was kind of an idea there that I was really visually clear in my mind, like I'm just going puck, 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 puck. So none of this. Okay, so Lubna says, yeah, one touch. All right, not multi-touch here. We're not there yet. Okay, so it's a piece of glass, had some kind of coating, when touched by the finger, it would register a single point on the screen because the finger acted as the conductor or joining that conductor, okay? All right, cool. Okay, so good. So that's what you want to get. I mean, when you read a paragraph like that, you need to have that much information. Look at this paragraph that we just read. It's probably, I would say, like, I don't know, looking at it, maybe 100 words or so, roughly, okay? And what you want to do is you want to be able to take those 100 words and then simplify those 100 words into the what, why, how, and that what, why, how is maybe 35 words. So we've cut it down to about 30% of the text, okay? And that's what you need to do. So if you have a paragraph that's 100 words, you need to be able to sum it up in about 30 words as a what, why, how, okay? Does that make sense? Everybody got that? So basically, I guess one way you can think about a reading passage, I'll maybe make a note of this for you. So one way to think of reflecting the contents of a passage in a concise means in a brief and accurate, concise way. So kind of like a summary here, right? Is to be able to express the information of the 750 words. That's about how many words an IELTS reading passage is for the academic. Words in about 250 words of your own without missing any key information. Okay? So, and you can practice that at home. So you can practice reading a passage of the IELTS, and this is good for the writing section as well. And then after you read the passage, summarize the passage, write an abstract for the passage, and make it about a third or a quarter of the word count of the actual passage. Okay? Yeah. So OIS says basically strip the text of any unnecessary information or redundancy. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. Here we go. Whoa, there's a nice big passage for us, or paragraph, I should say, paragraph for us. Here we go. So let's read this together. Okay. All right. Everything's on the screen. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more to, yeah, a little tiny touch more this way. Yep. That's a little more than a tiny touch. Just a sec. All right. There. Okay. That should be good. Okay, so here we go. Though Johnson's touchscreen was used throughout the latter part of the 20th century, it was quickly overshadowed in popularity by a different type of touchscreen technology, resistive. This technology was developed by accident in the early 1970s by G.S. Hurst while working at the University of Kentucky. Let me just, there. Okay. While working through the night on a particle accelerator, Hurst and his team wanted a faster way to complete their computations. They came upon the solution of using electrical conductive paper to read coordinates instead of calculating them by hand. A side effect of this work was that the electrically conductive paper also worked as a touchscreen. The University of Kentucky applied for a patent but was rejected. The discovery did not seem to the patent officers to have any relevant applications beyond the laboratory. Freed from intellectual property concerns, Hurst later worked during his off hours with a team of inventors, scientists, and engineers who also happened to be friends on refining his chance invention. Hurst knew that the technology was promising. How it worked was quite simple. The previously mentioned electrically conductive paper was used to cover a sheet containing the X and Y axes which were connected to a power source. When pressure was put on the conductive cover sheet, voltage was allowed to pass between the X and Y wires, which was then instantaneously measured to indicate the position of the pressure. One advantage of resistive technology over the capacitive technology was that it did not require the toucher to be specifically a finger. While it could certainly still be a finger, it could also be a stylus, a kind of pencil-type device to operate the touchscreen. In the 1990s, this led to a generation of so-called personal digital assistants, which used a stylus to operate a resistive touchscreen. Today, resistive touchscreens are still common around the world because they are cheaper and more durable. These devices can be found today in hospitals, factories, restaurants, and other retail environments. The next technological development, which was critical for the device you have in your pocket, is the ability for a touchscreen to be connected in more than one position, i.e. with two fingers at once. This functionality is fundamental to the operation of modern smartphones. Multiple finger gestures are made to zoom in and out of web pages, photos, or maps, among other useful functions. Interestingly, this technology is built upon the foundation laid by E.A. Johnson in the 1960s and 70s. The capacitive aspect of touchscreen, while certainly more complex than previous iterations, is fundamentally the same as that from half a century ago. Modern modifications have allowed for multiple touch points as well as pressure gradations, but the technology is remarkably similar to its origins. One negative aspect of capacitive touch technology is that a user cannot use a stylus or other objects since these objects do not conduct electricity like a finger. But this has changed in recent years. For example, in 2015, Apple unveiled the Apple Pencil, which used highly responsive sensors built into the tip of the pencil to detect force, position, and pencil tilt to provide a multitude of effects. Okay, I hope everybody is still reading with me and really visualizing what you're reading. So I don't know about you, but when I was reading the paragraph about the negative aspect of capacitive touchscreens, quick question. Your mobile phone, are you using resistive or capacitive touchscreens on your mobile phone? Okay, so what are you using on your mobile phone? This is quite interesting, and you should find this interesting because you're using it every day and it's in your pocket. So what are you using today on your phone? Yeah, so Honey says it's capacitive, which is interesting because resistive came later, but in the end, we're using capacitive more in our daily lives, right? And exactly, Lubna. So mobile phones, capacitive, right? And Fennel says it's kind of a hybrid, which is somewhat true, Fennel. It is somewhat of a hybrid, but it functions on the physics of the capacitive. Okay? So resistive is not crystallite. And the proof for that, so the proof for using the capacitive is in this paragraph here. Okay? How many of you have tried to use your mobile phones wearing a glove? Okay. Anybody ever tried to use your mobile phone when you weren't able to touch it with your finger because you had a glove on your hand or you had something on your hand and you were touching it and nothing was happening? And you're just going, oh, this is so annoying. And then you have to chew it off and rip your glove off your hand and then touch it. And now your hand's all cold. And then you're like, well, why don't they just make gloves that work for touchscreens? And they do make gloves like that. And then they advertise them, right? That, oh, you got these special kinds of gloves, right? I'm sure some of you have. Most of us have had situations where our mobile screen is not reacting to our touch and it's really annoying, right? It's really, really annoying. Did you find it annoying? I find it really annoying. That's what you should be visualizing here. that will make it crystal clear. Okay. Fennel says it did not work at all, and it's really annoying. Okay, so conclusion. Here we go. What is the future of touchscreens? 50 years since their advent, the possibilities seem endless. One fact seems doubtless, however. Touchscreens are a huge part of our lives, and all evidence points to this staying the case for the foreseeable future. Okay, so Crystallite, with some kinds of gloves, it might work where you can get that conductive response across the surface of the glove. I have special gloves like that too. Okay, or if you have a little bit of sweat or heat on your hand, you can get it across as well. But sometimes it just really doesn't work. Okay, so fantastic. Let's answer these questions. So lots of visualization, lots of critical thinking. Let's do this. So let's answer these questions as best as we can now. Here we go, everyone. So Johnson, okay, we're talking about the first types of touchscreens here. Johnson's touchscreen used something as an insulator and a transparent conductor coating. What did Johnson use? This should be easy. It was very visual. Okay, very, very visual. You shouldn't have to search for this. Yeah, Abhishek says glass. Absolutely. Glass, right? Okay, IELTS is it's not a physics exam. It's not an electrical engineering exam, all right? So they're not going to be asking you for extremely difficult words, especially in the beginning. And glass is correct, okay? Now, if I had to check, where can I check for this? So if I have to go back, because I'm like, I just want to make sure, where can I go and check this? Okay. Not sure what you mean by me, Byron, but okay. Yeah, second paragraph, exactly. Notice how all of you are so clear now because you had those visualizations. You know exactly where to go, okay? All right, so number 28, the something worked as the conductor, and because the dose of electricity was so small, it did not affect the person's health. This should, again, be fairly simple. You should not have to search. It's visual. It's there. You're confident. You involved yourself, so you're not second guessing. You're not like, oh, is it this? Is it maybe that? Is it that? Nope. You know what it is. And you only have one, so it's a finger. The finger. That's right. So the finger worked as the conductor. Okay? And we know it's all in the second paragraph, but we hopefully don't have to search for it. Okay? All right, very good. So glass, finger, so far so good. This is capacitive touchscreen. Now we go to the resistive touchscreen by H.S. Hurst. So resistive touchscreens. This technology was developed by accident, yeah. Instead of making calculations by hand, they used a special kind of something which conducted electricity. Look at you, honey. Honey's like, easy peasy. Yeah, because you're visualizing, right? Paper, special kind of paper. Okay, which conducted electricity. When the researchers applied for a patent for the technology, they were denied. Patent officers did not believe the technology had any something applications outside of the laboratory. Okay? What would that be? Well, I have some words. So Abhishek says relevant, all right? The word that comes to my mind is practical, maybe real world, okay? All of those come to mind, sure. Now, I don't know if it's relevant or real world, but I do know that it's in the third body paragraph, and I do know that it's about halfway through that paragraph because I remember exactly where it is. So this is where I'm going to check. I want the exact word out of the passage whenever possible, of course. So I'm going to look for the patent. Okay, I remember that It was somewhere around the patent. There it is. I can see it in the middle. I said I was looking in the middle, right? Applied for a patent, but was rejected. Did not seem the patent have any relevant applications. Yeah, so relevant is good. All right, so for all of you who got relevant, good job. All right, well done. So relevant applications. Very nice. Okay. Hearst was no longer bothered by worries about, so he toiled in his off hours with his friends. So again, if I don't know what it was, then I can go back. But I kind of seem to remember something like intellectual property, maybe. Okay. So, but I can go back. And Hearst is really an easy word to search for, and it will definitely come after patent in the third paragraph. So I know where to look. Okay. So here we go. Freed from intellectual property concerns. I know that the word concerns is the same as worry. Okay. And I have the word Hearst, or the name Hearst here, so I know that it's going to be intellectual property. Okay. Does everybody see how I did that? So I was looking for the paraphrasing. Freed from intellectual property concerns, Hearst later worked. Okay. And I visualized that. One of the reasons I was able to find that so fast is I saw myself as Hearst working in my free time to create this technology. So Hearst was no longer bothered by worries about intellectual property. Does everybody see how I made that connection with the paraphrasing? Okay. So intellectual property. Okay, that's a good collocation to remember, especially for business students, intellectual property. Okay, that will come up often. All right. Okay, everyone, so here we go. No hands required. Hearst developed his technology to the point that while one could still use a finger to manipulate the touchscreen, a person could also use a something, a device akin to a pen with no ink. Does everybody remember what that device is called? If you're as old as I am and you were around in the 90s, then you will definitely remember this because people had them. They used to sell them in shopping malls all over the place. Stylus, yeah. I guess they still do. They're maybe not as, I guess they're still kind of popular. Yeah, stylus. In the 90s, they were a big hit with the Palm Pilots. Okay, stylus. Yeah, very good, with the Y. Again, you could search for that. Okay, here we have 4 true, false, not given statements. I don't want to rush through these, so I'll leave you these for homework. Answer these on your own, and then you can send me an email with your answers, and I will send you an answer key. Okay, so you can check whether or not you got them correct. I don't want to rush through this kind of strategy. So here are the true, false, not given. You can look at the end of this video later to see that again. Okay, here are the multiple choice questions for 37 and 38. Again, just look back at the video later, answer these on your own. Okay, and then here are the last 2 questions. All right, so these ones you can do on your own, and then again, just send them to me by email and I'll send you an answer key. Okay, so you can figure out whether or not you got them correct. Here's my email for you. Adrian@aehelp.com. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me for this reading session. In 30 minutes, I will be back. We'll start a brand new Task 2 essay for the academic or for the general. It's one of those questions that could be for either. Remember to visit us at aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Join the premium package. It's a great deal. It's one payment, lifetime access to both the website and the app full versions. Same thing for general IELTS, GIELTShelp.com. One payment, lifetime access, well worth the few dollars compared to the price of the IELTS exam to save you time, stress, and perhaps sitting the exam a second or third time. Have a wonderful break, everyone. Hopefully I'll see you in half an hour for some task 2 writing. You're very welcome, Carolina Ois. Fennel, good to see so many of you in this class. Hopefully I'll see you shortly. Bye for now. I'm Adrian, signing out from Central Europe.